guys!
Hi guys!
Hi guys!
Hi guys!
Welcome to our vlog.
Hi again everybody! Today, we will enumerate the different theories of development and their proponents. But wait, why is it important to study these theories? Because understanding these theories will give us insights on how child learn, change, and grow. So what are we waiting for? Let's start!
The first theory that we will going to discuss is the relationship-based theory by Robert Hind. Robert Hind stated that the relationship influences the learning of the child. The relationship is a great driving force for the child to be developed. They need loving adults to protect them, nurture them, and help them to learn and grow. Responsive and caring nurturement with a child's significant people or significant others like mother, father, or parents or guardians is essential. The most essential in child's development is his mother. His mother, even if the child is not yet born, is not yet hit in the world, he already has a relationship with his mother when he is inside his mother's womb. And habang pinagbubuntis pa lang siya. Also, the mother is having the most intimate relationship with the child because pagkasinang pa lang sa bata, una agad ibinibigay sa nanay, sa dibdib ng nanay. And also, the positive interaction and relationship is very essential. Walang silbi or it is nonsense if you have an intimate relationship but it is not healthy or it is not that nurtured. For example, even if the mother is having directly nurturing her child but in a negative way and in a wrong way, like the child is experiencing physical, verbal, mental, or sexual abuse, the child will not be experiencing nurturement or development at all. The relationship will be useless. The relationship theory of Robert Hind will be useless. The next theory that we will going to discuss is the transactional theory of development by Arnold Samaroff. This theory stated that the communication is important or essential to child's learning. The communication is important to child's learning. Arnold Samaroff highlighted the transactional model of communication because there are a lot of models of communication, and the transactional model of communication is the best way to reprimand and develop a child because the transactional model of communication is a never-ending cycle of communication. It is a give and take where you can be a sender and you can be a receiver as well. And when you are talking to child, it is important not just to give them information and just give them nurturement, but it is important also to listen to them for us to know what is the thing that we will give and will be reprimand to them. And based on our situation right now, where the technology really stands out and dominating all of the people here all over the world, children are more likely to have a late development. Why will they have a late development? It is because of the early exposure in technology. It is not bad to let your child watch in television and in cell phones, in YouTube videos, educational videos like that, but it is still important to take guide in them and reprimand them because you must watch what they are watching and reprimand them because there is no complete communication when you are watching. There is communication, but there is no complete communication because it is linear. The only one who can send information is the one that we are watching in TVs and cell phones. And And even if the television programs and the videos in the internet are intended to let the child learn or educate them, still, we cannot make sure that they are really learning or they are just simply watching. Here in the Philippines, we are still in the middle of pandemic. That's why we have the mode of learning in online or distance. We have online and distance learning. And the Department of Education have this program called TV. This is where the teacher are inside the television letting them explain or teaching the child inside their houses. And now, it is important for the elders, the mother, and parents of the child to monitor and reprimand the children because the teachers inside the TV are not able to monitor or check the child if they are really learning or not. In our present situation right now, the parents have really important role in the children's development because the teachers cannot directly talk to the child, and the parents only can do that, or the elder or the caretaker of the children. And it is important to talk to them, to communicate to them, and reprimand them in everything that they do, especially in their education. Not just simply answering their modules and pass them weekly in schools. Don't answer their modules because you're just cheating on yourself and you're sacrificing the development of the children. We must monitor them, reprimand them, talk to them in order for them to learn.
Bioecological systems theory was formulated by Yuri Bronfenbrenner. This theory presents child's development within the complex of relationship systems that comprise the child's environment. It points out that the child's own biological makeup impacts his or her development. So, sinasabi rito sa bioecological systems theory na yung interaction ng different environmental systems is malaki yung impluwensya sa pag-develop ng bata. So, ano-ano nga ba itong environmental systems na to? We have 5 environmental systems. First is microsystem. It is a small, immediate environment where the child lives in. So, ito yung may direct connection and influence sa bata. For example, family, friends, and school. Second, mesosystem. It describes how the different parts of microsystem work together for the sake of the child. So, sinasabi dito or dinidescribe dito yung interconnections ng different microsystem. Yung connection ng family sa school, ng family sa friends. Example, pag-attend ng mga parents sa school meetings or school conference. Sa pamamagitan nito, nakikilala ng parents nila or nalalaman ng parents yung progress ng bata. Third, ecosystem. It includes other places and people that the child may not interact often but still have large effect on him or her. So ito yung walang direct connection and influence sa bata pero nakaka-apekto pa rin sa kanilang pag-develop. For example, yung type ng work ng parents or yung workplace, lalo na kung paiba-iba yung area, may epekto yun sa bata. Fourth, macrosystem. Most remote set of people and things to a child but which still has a great influence over the child. Example, cultural values. Alam naman natin yung culture na nagbibigay ito ng mga ideas kung ano yung mga dapat gawin sa hindi dapat gawin and yun kung ano yung tama sa mali. So, nakaka-apekto to sa behavior and pag-grow ng bata. And the last one is chronosystem and it talks about time. It is a parting of environmental events and transitions over the life course as well as socio-historical circumstances. So ito yung mga events and transitions na nangyayari sa buhay ng bata na malaking epekto sa kanilang pag-develop. Lalo na kung masama yung transitions na yun or hindi maganda yung transitions na yun. Example, divorce o yung paghihiwalay ng parents. So, Once na nangyari to, malaki yung epekto sa different areas of development ng bata. The next theory is Eco-Biodevelopmental Theory by John Sean Goff. This theory puts together all aspects of health and understanding of the effects of stressful environment and interventions to relieve them, and the new information from science and neurobiology and epigenetics. So sa theory na to, dinidescribe lang naman kung paano ang early social experiences and environmental experiences and ng biology na i-impluwensyahan yung behavior, learning capacity, mental and physical health and productivity ng tao, particularly ng mga bata. So itong mga early experiences na to, nagdudulot siya ng stress sa tao. And may tatlong types of stress kung saan pwede natin makategorize kung anong stress ba yung nadulot mo sa bata. First is positive stress. It is a normal and essential part of healthy development, characterized by brief increase in heart rate and elevations in hormone levels. So, ito yung mga common na stressful experiences na nangyayari during childhood. For example, injections for immunization and anxiety associated with entering school. So, ito yung mga stress na nakakapagdulot ng anxiety pero may benefits naman din sa kanila. So, children with stable environment, positive stressful experiences constitute challenges for growth and development. Tolerable stress. It activates the body's alert systems to a greater degree as a result of more severe, long-lasting difficulties such as loss of a loved one or death, a natural disaster, a frightening injury, or even a terrorism act. To cope up with these events, caregivers have to promote the protection of children through relationships that facilitate adaptive responses and sense of control. It will help to reduce the physiological stress of the organism. The third type of stress and the last one is toxic stress. It can occur when a child experiences strong, frequent, and or long-lasting difficult events such as physical or emotional abuse, caregiver, substance abuse or mental illness, and exposure to violence without enough adult support. So, to prevent or reverse yung mga damaging effects caused by toxic stress, kailangan natin mag-provide ng supportive and responsive relationship sa mga bata as early in life as possible.
Now we will turn on to Hierarchy of Needs by Abraham Maslow, an American psychologist. In 1943, he published his theory, Hierarchy of Needs, that explained the human motivation. This hierarchy of needs is theory that focuses in 5 tiers of needs of become successful. Maslow placed it in order to realize what is happened next. Start from the bottom to the top of the pyramid. In the beginning, it consists of basic until it reaches the fullest potential as human being. The first tier is the physiological needs are about having the right nutrition, clothes, and a rest and exercise. In this tier, ensure that children meet their physical needs, have healthy body, that they have enough energy. The second tier is safety needs, are about having a shelter, personal security, and having a stability in one's life. This ensures that the children feel safe at all times. They will not be scared to do all the things that they want. The third tier is love and belonging are about socializing to others, feeling that they belong, connected, and to be loved. It makes sure that children sense they are belong to the family, friends, and to the community. The child will not have anxiety that form a class issue with the people around him. because he feels that he is an important part of the family. The fourth tier is esteem. It has a feeling of achievement, being recognized, and being a person different from another person. The children are motivated and have desire to master their skills and gain more knowledge. To make the children be motivated because he been praised by the parent that he want to achieve more skills so he can master it. The last tier is the self-actualization. It's about achieving the full potential, being creative, and finding the specialness of oneself. In this, make the child have desire to do more things without the guidance of the parent, and already have a full confidence to do things that they want. This theory of hierarchy of needs by Maslow helps to focus on what is the need of the children, identify if there is a gap that can affect the development of the child. The children that didn't get their needs are most likely not to meet the skill that can help them to develop and grow up with a good foundation. The next theory is attachment theory. It focuses on the relationship and bond of a child between their parent, caregiver, and other people. The British psychologist John Bowlby was the first attachment theorist. He described that attachment is a psychological connectedness of a human being. Making this theory, Bowlby considered the importance of the relationship of the children with their parent in terms of social, emotional, and cognitive development. The attachment was formed in the way the child feels the comfort and care of someone to him, so that he will not be scared to do the things with them. The caregiver can also build an attachment to the child, because they are the everyday who take care to the child, feed them, and serve the things that they need. That the children already feel anxiety and distress if their caregiver is separated from them. And every time that the child is scared, they will seek for their caregiver to look for comfort and care. There are 4 attachment styles. The first is the secure attachment. Its significance of a warm and loving relationship of the child with his parent. The child will feel that he is secure to do all the things that he wants and not be scared to explore. A child with a secure attachment is active and more confident to do the activities and interact with other people. The second is anxious ambivalent attachment, in which the child has a distrust with their parent and caregiver that is more likely scared to be abandoned. The child in this attachment is always seeking approval and observing the surrounding before he moves and does the activities. This kind of anxious and ambivalent was formed because they feel unloved and not given attention by their parent, that the child is having a hard time to express themselves. The third is the avoidant attachment. The child in this attachment grow unloved and accept that the emotional needs are unmet. They mostly ignore their parents every time that they come home and there's no interaction with them. The child is having a hard time expressing themselves and interacting with other children and people around. The fourth is disorganized attachment. This is a combination of the anxious and avoidant attachment. The child mostly avoid having a relationship with others and have difficulty in controlling their emotion that they easily explode. An example is when the child always breaks their toys every time he is angry. The child that is under this style may experience abuse, trauma, or have a chaos environment.
Next year that we're going to talk about is the social cultural theory by Lev Vygotsky. Lev Vygotsky defines social cultural theory from the word itself, social and culture. It means that the process of learning is by exploration, relationship, and the culture. Vygotsky stated that the social interaction of the child between the adult culture and the environment affects the learning of the child. Vygotsky emphasizes the 4 drivers of the children's cognitive development. It is 1, the culture. It is the general rules of the society, the traditions, and the beliefs. And he believed that it is also a factor of the children's development. The second one is the social factors. The social factors is the family, peers, community, and friends that we meet or people that we meet. The third is the role of language. The role of language has a big impact when learning and when in the development matters, because we cannot be developed if we cannot understand the language or words. And the fourth is the adults, or the more knowledgeable others. The adults are one of the most important sources of knowledge. They are the more knowledgeable others who will guide and scaffold the children, because they gain a lot of knowledge and experiences. They are educated enough to teach and reprimand the child. Vygotsky also believed that a child has a zone of proximal development, or the ZPT. It is their abilities, talents, and cognitive skills to have more rooms to development or improvement if they will be guided by the MKO or the more knowledgeable others, if they will be scaffolded. And example of this is when a child became curious in playing chess. At first, he has no idea on how to play it, but because he asked the elders or the more knowledgeable others to teach him and play with him, he will be able to learn playing chess, and by practicing it, he will be also practicing his critical thinking skills and develop his competencies. The next theory that we are going to talk about is the Constructivist Theory. The Constructivist Theory simply defines that people is actively learning and constructing their own knowledge based on their personal experiences and pre-existing knowledge. According to John Piaget, children are constructing their understanding through the world through actively playing and exploration. Through the experiences and exploration, they will have this so-called schema. The schema is the term for the building block of knowledge. John Piaget stated that the children are constructing their learning by experiences as an educator, future educator, family member, adult, caretaker, especially a mother. It is important for us not to set the limits for the children. It is important for us to encourage the child to be independent. Example of this is letting a toddler eat by his own. Hayaan natin sila na kumain mag-isa. Hindi na natin sila dapat subuan. Although the toddler's fine motor skills are not that fully developed, still, it is important to let them to be independent. And throughout their experiences and continuous practice of letting themselves eating alone, ma-develop na rin ang kanilang fine motor skills. And also, it is hassle for the adults to clean the table, but always remember that it is a part of the children's development. Another example of letting your child to be involved in experiences and exploration is the never-ending commercial scenes here in the Philippine televisions of the detergent brands and milk products, where the child is having stains when they are playing. It is somehow, those commercials are somehow setting us or reminding us, especially the parents, to let our child move and actively explore the world. Huwag natin pagbawalan ang mga bata na maglaro sa kadahilanan na maduduwihan lang sila. It is not just simple clothes stains. Hindi lang yung simpleng matsak sa damit nila. They are exploring and they are learning by playing. Also, Piaget introduces a process where the active exploration of the children and the pre-existing of the children and the support of the adult will be balanced. The active exploration of the children and the pre-existing knowledge of the children and the support of the adult will be balanced. It is the equilibration or the equilibrium process. The equilibrium process is constructed into two processes, the assimilation and the accommodation. The assimilation is the knowledge built by the child through his experiences and pre-existing knowledge. And the accommodation is when the more knowledgeable others, or also known as MKO, the mother, teachers, adult, or parent, is going to complement or fix the child's existing knowledge. Example of this is kapag yung bata naglaro sa damuhan and he decided to catch dragonfly, and while looking for dragonfly or while catching for dragonfly, he sees a butterfly, another type of insect. Dahil bago sa paningin ng bata yung butterfly, he would think na this is just a larger version of the dragonfly. Mas malaki lang ito. Parehas lang silang dragonfly. That's how the assimilation or the pre-existing knowledge works. And to complement the child's learning and to fix the child's learning, for him to be enlightened na magkaibang butterfly sa dragonfly, the adult must educate them. The adult must teach the child that the butterfly and the dragonfly is different from one another. And that's how the accommodation works. The more knowledgeable others have roles to complement the child's learning or to fix the child's learning.
Social learning cognitive theory was formulated by Albert Bandura. It was started in 1960 as social learning theory and developed to social cognitive theory in 1986. According to Bandura, children learn through imitation. So, ibig sabihin, ang pagkatuto ay nangyayari sa pamamagitan ng obserbasyon at pakikipag-ugnayan sa iba. Pag-obserba sa kilos ng ibang tao at paggaya sa mga kilos niyon. The unique feature of social cognitive theory is the emphasis of external and internal social reinforcement. There are 4 conditions of social learning cognitive theory. So, ito yung mga process na ni-required para maobserbahan yung learning. First is attention. So, kailangan mag-pay attention yung tao sa behavior or sa action. Second is retention. It is the ability to remember the action or behavior. Third is reproduction. It is the ability to reproduce the action or behavior. And last one is motivation. Being motivated to enact the behavior or action. So sa 4 na conditions, ang pinaka-importante is yung motivation. So, kailangan may motivation yung bata na gawin yung action or yung behavior. Kasi kung walang motivation, walang attention, wala ring retention, and reproduction. Core knowledge theory was product of Elizabeth Spelke, a cognitive psychologist. According to core knowledge, it forms the basis for the robust cognitive machinery that gets us through life. And it also emphasizes the importance of social interaction. According to Spelke, infants hold domain-specific knowledge in 4 core systems. The proposed core systems appear to be adopted learning about first, inanimate objects or objects. Second, animate creatures or agents or actions. Third, set of countable things or numbers. Fourth, spatial geometry or space. So, yung mga discoveries ni Spelke ang naging central ng mga ongoing attempts to figure out human cognition. From her insights, theory of core knowledge asserts that all humans are born with basic cognitive skills that let them make sense of the world.
Now we are on Holt's Perceptual Mapping. This theory consists with a constructionism theory of learning and a relationship-based theory of development. Patricia Coles, a professor of speech and hearing sciences at the University of Washington, she led our research in language acquisition, and proposed a model of language acquisition called Perceptual Mapping. This theory is about how the infant learn the language and understand the structure of it in the first year of their life before they learn to speak. According to Kolb, in the first year of life of an infant, they have a lot of thoughts in their mind. To able to learn a language, the children break down the language that they hear in their parent and the people in their surrounding, that he can determine a pattern to help him to learn. The infant is more observant and more critically listening when their parents are communicating to them, that he is able to learn the language and try to mimic the sound of it. The infant is have more chance to learn when his parent is always communicating to them that they can adapt the language of their parent. Mostly when the infant tries to communicate, they just use the first or last syllable of the word. To learn the language, the infants map the major components of the language: the sound, words, intonation, and rules of how the language is constructed. To effectively learn to speak the language is required to hearing it spoken and hearing it by himself. That the parent should speak into the infants in clear language because it can influence the learning process of the infant. And also, parent can use apparently. The parent use a high-pitched and exaggerated tone in communicating to the infant. It helps the infant to learn the language easily. The communication is really important to the infant because it helps them to learn the language rapidly. The frequent they hear the word, the easy for them to learn and understand it. But we should use a right way of speaking, that when the infants grow up, they can speak more straight. Last theory is social interaction theory. This emphasizes how the social environment interaction influence the language development of the infant. Vygotsky's sociocultural theory emphasizes that for infants and toddlers to learn a language, first, they need have a responsive interaction with adults to learn the language. And the second is opportunities to communicate. This theory argues that not only in hearing the child can learn a language, also they need to have engagement with other children, parents, and people he's surrounding, that he is able to learn more language. Sometimes when the adult imitate the language of the infant, where they add 2 or more language to respond to them, it helps the infants to learn and to engage in a conversation, where they will know when their turn, how to pause, and to listen. The social interaction theory, it emphasizes that the infants and toddlers are active learners that can construct a language with the adults. The more they have interaction and conversation with their parents, the more words and language the child will learn. This theory emphasizes the importance of interaction for the child to be able to understand how to respond and to be engaged in a conversation. Also to make the child have a chance to express themselves and have a good communication with their parents and other people in his surroundings.
And that's it guys for our today's vlog. And if you like this video, please give this video a big thumbs up, comment down below, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and don't forget to click the notification below for more updates. And see you guys to our next vlog. Bye-bye!